Good morning everybody, welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great and welcome to this new video about XRP. We're going to do a full update here. I'll try to just keep you updated as well as I can on the technicals and the price of XRP right here. There's no major fundamentals we can talk about today, but if there's major fundamental updates, if there's major news for Ripple, for XRP, I'll be the first to tell you, all right? I'll promise you that, but in this video I just wanted to keep you up to date on the more short-term technicals, right? I mean, the long-term technicals, in my opinion, are quite clear for XRP, and that is that we are in a consolidation. We're nearing the bottom of the consolidation right here between 2.07 and 1.95. I expect us to, from that support level, from that general lower bound of the range, to move back up to at least the middle of the range at 2.41, but also potentially into 2.6 and 2.7, 2.8 maybe even at the top of the range. So that is generally what I do expect, but that's on the higher time frames, right? And at this point of time, it makes more sense, I would say, to look at the lower time frames. And the lower time frames are quite stable, right? I mean, you can see that we've basically since the beginning of June, XRP has formed some sort of a balance right here between 2.26 to the upside and a little bit higher than 2.07, 2.11 here to the downside. That's the value area, right? So that is where most of the value is being transacted, and then we've tried to break above that a couple of times, but so far it never worked. And we also, well, I mean, it's a bit of a good sign that we actually never really tried to break down to the downside, and that's also in general. Like if I would have to have a slight bias on XRP, it is a slight bullish bias, right? And that's not only because we are holding this support level right here at 2.07 very well, which obviously plays a part, but it's also on the higher time frames. Like, where are the outsized returns at this point of time? I know it's a little bit of an unpopular thing to say because the sentiment in the markets right now is very low, but I would say there's more returns to the upside than to the downside, especially also taking into account the possible news that we can have, right? So I'm basically saying I think it's safer to long than short, both fundamentally but also technically. So those are my thoughts, kind of, you know, in the bigger picture. If we zoom in, there's not much to talk about, right? I mean, the open interest right here is and has been fairly flat. If we zoom into that, yes, we do see some positioning coming in right here, but it's not really one directional. We have some shorts coming in, we have some longs coming in. The volume has increased over the course of this morning, and we've seen a bit of a bullish reaction for Bitcoin. That's good news, right? And that's also in line with what I expect from XRP. And that is that technically, you know, after hitting the bottom of the range right here, we'll move up to the top of the range, where we also have some imbalances. So in the end, I'm actually fairly optimistic and I'm fairly bullish about XRP. But then once we get there, even though I think there are outsized returns to the upside, given the current fundamentals, I don't think we'll break out. I don't think the fundamentals are stable. I don't think the fundamentals for Ripple specifically are good enough to expect a breakout above the value area that we have created since the beginning of June. And I would also say that even though short term, I do think this is most likely, right? So short term, this is my prediction. And then from there, maybe we'll have another attempt to break out. But like I said, at this point in time, I don't think we'll break out. So I think we'll move back to the POC right here at 2.17, 2.16 afterwards. But I think you should also be aware, and most of you are intelligent viewers, right? So most of you know this, but you should be aware of the fundamentals in general and the risks of that, right? I mean, if we get escalation in the Middle East, for example, like we can easily spike down into 1.95. So that is a possibility. It seems to be stable right here, right now. I mean, if you can call it stable, there's at least no real development, no real escalation, no real de-escalation. So maybe that's good enough to get this move. Or at least I think it's good enough. But that doesn't mean that I'm longing XRP right now. I'd say that's still too risky. But those are my thoughts. I think that's what you need to know. So hopefully it helps. But for now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.